Paul Bernard Rodgers is an English-Canadian rock singer-songwriter, best known for his success in the 1960s and 1970s as vocalist of Free and Bad Company. After stints in two less successful bands in the 1980s and early 1990s, The Firm and The Law, he became a solo artist. He has more recently toured and recorded with another popular band, Queen. Rodgers has been dubbed the Voice by his fans. A poll in Rolling Stone magazine ranked him number 55 on its list of the 100 greatest singers of all time. Rodgers has been cited as a significant influence on a number of notable rock singers, including David Coverdale, John Waite, Steve Overland, Lou Gramm, Jimi Jamison, Eric Martin, Steve Walsh, Lynn Turner, Paul Young, Robin McAuley, Jimmy Barnes, Richie Kotzen and Joe Bonamassa. In 1991, John Mellencamp called Rodgers the best rock singer ever. Freddie Mercury, the original Queen vocalist, in particular liked Rodgers and his aggressive style. Early career: Paul Rodgers was born in Middlesbrough, and played bass in local band The Roadrunners, which just before leaving Middlesbrough for the London music scene changed its name to the Wildflowers. Other members of this band were Mickey Moody and Bruce Thomas. Free. Rodgers made a mark on the British music scene in 1968 as singer-songwriter for bluesy rockers Free. In 1970, they shot up the international radio charts with All Right Now, which Rodgers wrote with the group's bassist Andy Fraser. It was a #1 hit in more than 20 territories and acknowledged by ASCAP in 1990 for having received over 1 million radio plays in the US. The song played a role in introducing Rodgers' vocal style, while helping to establish the sound of the British blues rock invasion. For a short time, Free were alongside Led Zeppelin as among the highest-grossing British acts, though Free's status did not sustain. Free released 4 albums with a combination of blues, ballads and rock that were top 5 successes in the UK. When in 2000, the song All Right Now achieved the mark of 2 million radio plays in the UK, an award was given to Rodgers as one of the 2 writers. After the first breakup of Free in the spring of 1971, Rodgers briefly formed a 3-piece band called Peace. Alongside bassist Stuart MacDonald and drummer Mick Underwood, Rodgers played guitar and sang lead vocal. Peace supported Mott the Hupple's UK tour in 1971, but broke up when Free reformed at the start of 1972. 2 songs by Peace were eventually included on the 5th disc of the 2000 Free compilation Songs of Yesterday, along with a song that Rodgers recorded with the Maytals. A bootleg has circulated of a December 22, 1971 appearance by Peace on the BBC's Top Gear programme. 1970s, Bad Company. Rodgers formed his next band, Bad Company, with Mick Rolfes, former guitarist of the Mott the Hupple. The lineup also included Rodgers' bandmate from Free, drummer Simon Kirke, as well as Boz Burrell, former vocalist and bassist of King Crimson. Rodgers said, "Mick and I were trying to come up with names for the band. When I called him and said Bad Company, he dropped the phone." Bad Company was the first act signed to Led Zeppelin's new record label, Swan Song. They toured successfully from 1973 to 1982, and had several hits such as Feel Like Makin' Love, Can't Get Enough, Shooting Star, Bad Company, and Run with the Pack. Rodgers also showcased his instrumental talents on several tracks. Bad Company and Run with the Pack featured him on piano, Rock and Roll Fantasy on guitar, and on the ballad Seagull Rodgers played all of the instruments. Bad Company earned 6 platinum albums until Rodgers left in 1982 at the height of their fame, stating that he wanted to spend time with his young family. It was revealed in April 2011 that after Jim Morrison's death, the rest of the Doors wanted Rodgers to replace him. Rodgers has said that he was unreachably rural at the time, and the moment passed. 1980s, solo career and The Firm. In the early 1980s, it was rumored that Rodgers would sing with the Rossington Collins Band. In October 1983, Rodgers released his first solo LP, Cut Loose. He composed all of the music and played all of the instruments. The album reached number 135 on Billboard's Pop Albums chart. When his friend Jimmy Page started to come around to his house, guitar in hand and Led Zeppelin at an end, the duo's first live pairing was on the USARMS tour. which had first been mooted by Eric Clapton and, besides Rodgers and Page, would include Jeff Beck, Joe Cocker, Steve Winwood and others. The inspiration behind ARMS had been former Small Faces member Ronnie Lane's own struggle with MS. This led to Rodgers and Page's further teaming in the group The Firm, which resulted in 2 albums and 2 tours. Both Firm World tours managed only average attendance. Despite being panned by critics, The Firm's 2 albums, The Firm and Mean Business, achieved moderate sales success and produced the radio hits Radioactive, Satisfaction Guaranteed, and, in the UK, All the King's Horses. During this same period, a series of albums were produced called Willie and the Poor Boys. Rodgers and Page were briefly part of this and recorded These Arms of Mine, an Otis Redding tune. This recording also became a video promoting the CD. 1990s, The Law and solo career. The Law, Rodgers' 1991 musical venture with former The Who and Faces drummer Kenny Jones, produced Billboard's #1 AOR charted Laying Down the Law written by Rodgers, but the album peaked at number 126 on the Billboard 200 chart. A second album can be found on the bootleg market, which is often referred to as The Law 2. It is believed that this collection of songs were leftovers from the first album. Rodgers acknowledged the influence of Jimi Hendrix by collaborating with Steve V. Hendrix's Band of Gypsies and the London Metropolitan Orchestra and recorded the track Bold as Love, on the Hendrix tribute album In From the Storm. Then Rodgers teamed with Journey guitarist Neil Schon and released the Hendrix Set, a live 5-track CD, recorded in 1993 with Rodgers' interpretations of Hendrix songs. A Canadian and US tour followed. His Grammy-nominated solo CD, Muddy Water Blues, a tribute to Muddy Waters, was released in 1993. Rodgers wrote the title track and was backed by guitarists Brian May, Gary Moore, David Gilmour, Jeff Beck, Steve Miller, Buddy Guy, Richie Sambora, Brian Setzer, Slash and Trevor Rabin. For Woodstock's 25th anniversary in 1994, Rodgers pulled together drummer Jason Bonham, bassist Andy Fraser, guitarist Slash and Schon at the last moment to perform as the Paul Rodgers Rock and Blues Revue. In 1995 he formed a new band consisting of Jazz Lockery on bass, Jimmy Copley on drums and Jeff Whitehorn on guitar. The band toured extensively in Europe, US and in the UK until 1998 and released 3 albums a year: Now, Now and Live and Electric. Now charted internationally in the top 40. The single Soul of Love remained in rotation on more than 86 US radio stations for 6 months but was not a sales success. In 1996, he went to Australia and decided to play congas for the Wiggles' Wake Up Jeff album. His 1997 world tour included Russia, Japan, Canada, US, UK, Germany, France, Romania, Bulgaria, Israel, Brazil, Greece and Argentina. Rodgers and Bad Company hit Billboard's US BDS charts with the #1 single Hey, Hey in 1999, one of 4 new tracks off Bad Company's The Original Bad Company anthology. The second single release, Rodgers' Hammer of Love, reached number 2. For the first time in 20 years, all the original members of Bad Company toured the US. 2000s, solo career, Queen and Bad Company reunion. Rodgers focused on his solo career in 2000 and released Electric, his 6th solo CD. In its debut week, the single Drifters was US rock radio's #1 on the Most Added FMQB Hot Tracks list, #2 on Most Added L&A Rock and #3 on Most Added Album Net Power Cuts. Drifters remained in the top 10 for 8 weeks on Billboard's rock charts. That year, he played sold-out concerts in England, Scotland, Australia, United States and Canada. After his appearance on TV's Late Show with David Letterman in New York, he met and jammed with B.B. King. That same year, Rodgers, Jimmy Vaughan, Levin Helm, bluesman Hubert Sumlin, Johnny Johnson, James Cotton and others performed a sold-out concert in Cleveland as a Muddy Water Blues, a tribute to Muddy Waters. In spring 2001, Rodgers returned to Australia, England and Scotland for the second run of sold-out shows. That summer he toured the US with Bad Company. Rodgers and Bad Company released their first official live CD and DVD, In Concert, Merchants of Cool, in 2002. It included all the hits and a new single, Joe Fabulous, penned by Rodgers, which hit #1 at classic rock radio and top 20 on mainstream rock radio in the US. In its debut week, the DVD sales SoundScan at #3 Canada, and #4 in the US. The Joe Fabulous tour kicked off in the US and sold out in the UK. While in London, Rodgers performed with Jeff Beck at the Royal Festival Hall. Rodgers was invited by longtime fan Tony Blair to perform at the Labour Party conference. I had the entire Labour Party singing the chorus of Wishing Well, a song I wrote and shared with Free. Love in a Peaceful World. Love in a Peaceful World. Over and over and over hoping the words would sink in, but we went to war, recalled Rodgers. Twice in 2002, Rodgers performed on Britain's TV show Top of the Pops 2. In 2003, Rodgers toured as a solo artist for the first time in 2 years, playing 25 US dates. In his solo band were guitarist Howard Lees, bassist Lynn Turner and drummer Jeff Kotzen. Jools Holland invited Rodgers to record I Told the Truth for Holland's album Small World Big Band. The CD also featured Eric Clapton, Ronnie Wood, Peter Gabriel, Michael McDonald, Ringo Starr and others. This led to Rodgers performing 2 sold-out nights at London's Royal Albert Hall with Holland and his 18-piece rhythm and blues orchestra, and several UK TV appearances. He also appeared with Jeff Beck, performing some songs from Beck's back catalogue for part of a week-long series of charity concerts put on by Jeff Beck at the Royal Festival Hall in London. Early in 2004, Rodgers joined Mitch Mitchell and Billy Cox, Buddy Guy, Joe Satriani, Kid Rock's Kenny Olsen, Alice in Chains' Jerry Cantrell, Double Trouble, Indigenous, Kenny Wayne Shepherd and blues legend Hubert Sumlin, and performed 3 sold-out shows in Seattle, Portland and San Francisco as Experience Hendrix. Once again, Rodgers only played 25 concerts in the US and Canada. He performed at Wembley for the 50th anniversary celebration for the Fender Stratocaster, along with David Gilmour, who played Strat #1, Ronnie Wood, Brian May, Joe Walsh, Gary Moore. Rodgers sang and played a custom-designed Jaguar Fender Strat. Rodgers was invited by the Four Tops to be part of their 50th anniversary TV-DVD concert celebration at Motown's Opera House and performed alongside Aretha Franklin, Dennis Edwards and The Temptations Revue, Sam Moore, Mary Wilson, Ashford and Simpson and the Four Tops. In late 2004, after a successful live television performance, 2 of the 4 members of the British rock group Queen proposed a collaboration with Rodgers, in which he would sing lead vocals on a European tour. Rodgers thus joined Brian May and Roger Taylor, with the group billed as Queen plus Paul Rodgers, and they subsequently toured worldwide in 2005 and 2006. The participants clearly stated, including on Brian May's own website, that Rodgers would be featured with Queen as Queen plus Paul Rodgers, not replacing the late Freddie Mercury. The group subsequently released a live album with songs from Queen, Bad Company and Free, called Return of the Champions, and a DVD of the same name. Both featured live recordings from their Sheffield Hallam FM Arena concert on May 9, 2005. The DVD features Imagine from Hyde Park. For One Glorious Summer, opined music critic Shawn Michaels, we were all Paul Rodgers. Another DVD was released in 2006 from a live performance in Japan, called Super Live in Japan. Queen plus Paul Rodgers also released a single featuring Reaching Out, Tie Your Mother Down, and Fat Bottomed Girls. The summer of 2006 saw Rodgers again focused on his solo career with a world tour, which commenced in Austin, Texas, US in June, then on to Japan, finishing in Glasgow, Scotland, in October 2006. On August 15, 2006, Brian May confirmed through his website that Queen plus Paul Rodgers would begin producing a new studio album beginning in October, to be recorded at Roger Taylor's home. In April 2007, Rodgers released a live album of his 2006 tour, Live in Glasgow, recorded in Glasgow, Scotland October 13, 2006, with a DVD of the same show released the following month. On December 28, 2007, Rodgers performed with a Trans-Siberian Orchestra during their winter 2007 tour in Houston, Texas and Dallas, Texas. Unannounced, he joined the band at the end of their show to sing Bad Company and All Right Now. Rodgers was a judge for the 6th and 7th Annual Independent Music Awards to support independent artists. On June 27, 2008, Rodgers and Queen performed at the concert for Nelson Mandela to celebrate Mandela's 90th birthday. On August 8, 2008, Rodgers and original members Mick Ralphs and Simon Kirke reunited as Bad Company to perform a one-night-only, sold-out performance at the Seminole Hard Rock Live in Hollywood, Florida. The live performance was released on Blu-ray, DVD, and CD on February 9, 2010, and the tracks included 17 Bad Company hits. Rodgers dedicated Gone, Gone, Gone to original bassist Boz Burrell, who died in 2006. On May 14, 2009, Rodgers announced he was ending his 5-year-long collaboration with Queen, although did not rule out the possibility of working with them again. On November 17, 2009, it was announced he would join the other surviving members of Bad Company for an 8-date UK tour in April 2010. 2010's solo career and more Bad Company. On June 5, 2010, he began a mini California tour by performing at the Temecula Valley Balloon and Wine Festival. 1 week later, on June 12, Rodgers and his band appeared as headliners on the grandstand stage at the San Diego County Fair in Del Mar, California, followed by casino shows in Lemoore on June 17 and in Santa Ynez on June 18. Rodgers performed a solo UK tour in April 2011 with Joe Elliott's Down N.Rs. The concert of April 28 at Birmingham's National Indoor Arena was filmed for a future live DVD release. In May 2011, Rodgers received an Ivor Novello Award for Outstanding Contribution to British Music. Rodgers announced that he would be taking part in a Paul McCartney tribute album that would also feature contributions by Billy Joel, Garth Brooks, B.B. King, and Kiss. Originally planned for a late 2010 release, the album, entitled The Art of McCartney, will be released in late 2014. Rodgers' contribution is a cover of the Wings song Let Me Roll It, originally from their 1973 album Band on the Run. As of 2014, Rodgers is once again touring with Bad Company. Personal life: Paul Rodgers married Machiko Shimizu in 1971, and has 2 children from that marriage, Steve and Jasmine. The 2 children are also musicians and singers who formed a band, Bonamassa, in the 1990s. Rodgers and Shimizu divorced in 1996. On September 26, 2007, Rodgers married a former model and Miss Canada, exercise physiologist and artist Cynthia Kerr-Luck in Canada's Okanagan Valley. Rodgers became a Canadian citizen on October 21, 2011, and resides in Surrey, British Columbia. Discography: Solo, Cut Loose, Muddy Water Blues, a tribute to Muddy Waters, The Hendrix Set, Paul Rodgers and Friends, Live at Monterey, Live, The Lawley Tapes, Now, Now and Live, Electric, extended versions, Live in Glasgow, Live at Hammersmith Apollo 2009, The Royal Sessions, with Free, Tons of Sobs, Free, Fire and Water, Highway, Free Live. Free at Last, Heartbreaker, The Free Story, The Best of Free, with Bad Company, Straight Shooter, Run with the Pack, Burning Sky, Desolation Angels, Rough Diamonds, the original Bad Company anthology, In Concert, Merchants of Cool, Hard Rock Live, Live at Wembley, with The Firm, Mean Business, The Firm Live at Hammersmith 1984, 5 from The Firm, with The Law, with Queen plus Paul Rodgers, Live albums, Return of the Champions, Super Live in Japan, Live in Ukraine, studio albums, The Cosmos Rocks, singles, Rock Therapy, Reaching Out / Tie Your Mother Down, Say It's Not True, Celebrity, Other albums, The AZ of Queen, Volume 1, references. External links, official website, MSS Magazine interview.